Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. And we sure appreciate you coming on. And at the start here, we like to say hello to a few friends, friends of the program, the ones that are able and willing to join us in the morning. And Brahim, you're number one on the hit parade this morning. Mike from Norland, you two guys, you gotta have, is that Patricia? Yeah, you guys gotta have some kind of thing that you do. I don't know what you do, but Manette, how are you? Tina, Nova Scotia. Madeleine from Kippawa, Quebec. Bill, good morning to you. And Mary from Norwich. Thanks for coming on, and we appreciate you saying hello. Keith, not everybody says hello, I understand that. Wendy from Markham, good morning. Nellie and Cheryl from West Virginia, good morning to you. Judy from Mitchell. Yala, bonjour. And Suzanne from Gilmore. Sandy and Nick from our staff. And Kevin, there he is from Oshawa. Gina, good morning. Donna from Park Hill. And Ron, how are you? From Northern Idaho. Marilyn from Kelowna, bright and early. Francis, good morning. Heather, Miramashi, whatever. And Catherine, John from Elgin, Illinois. Fran from Orangeville. And Shirley from Saskatchewan. Roma, Brampton, good morning. Andrea, Nouveau Brunswick. And Eric, Ottawa, good morning. Guylaine, bonjour de Hearst, Ontario. Anne, good morning. And Lise, how are you? From London. Marcia, hola, from Mexico, good morning. And Anne, Moncton, New Brunswick. Linda, oh, we love those Lindas from Sturgeon. Dorothy, good morning. And Maureen from Penticton, British Columbia. There's Dr. McEwen, a dear friend. Good morning from West Tennessee. Diane, Etta, and Elizabeth, good morning. Karen, Kincarden, and Donna. Belle Ubert, what the heck is that? And Louise, good morning. Mary, a couple more. And Margie from Rainy, Kansas. Gary from Bolton. And Louise, how are you? I think I just said hello to you. Maybe I didn't. Beverly, might have been another Louise from New Brunswick. Fran from Tilsonburg. Annette, New Brunswick. And Doris from Kitchener. And Dave from Muskoka. Okay. Let's talk about two new studies that came out on the brain. I found them interesting, okay? And it's not necessarily new, because I think I've talked to you about this in the past, but they're just studies sort of confirming what we've been talking about. And one of them is here, let me read you the study, muscle and brain. Okay, muscles and brain are closely associated, okay? And especially in older adults, okay? Listen to what they said on this study. With sarcopenia, okay, which is muscle wasting, okay? There is a 2.4 greater risk of dementia. So that's really, really important, okay? So muscle and brain have a big connection. Think about that. How often have you ever thought about that? Not often. And the world doesn't see it. And, as people get older especially, and muscle loss is part of their DNA to some extent, because as people get older, they just, I'm older. Of course, I'm not strong. But the idea here, and research is bearing this out, is that muscle is probably it's one of the most important factors in your metabolism. Okay? The more storage space you have, think of your muscles as storage space. Okay? The more bins that you have to store, it makes a huge difference when it comes to your metabolism. And, okay, I've talked to you about that in terms of the more muscle you have, the better you metabolize any kind of sugar. Because when you don't have muscle, your liver takes the brunt of that. Your liver gets full of fat because you don't have storage space in your muscle. Okay, so it's this study is just confirming that. As people get older and they develop sarcopenia, and by the way, let me just say it, most people that get osteoporosis, okay, most people that get osteoporosis, one, they don't have muscle. The most important thing for osteoporosis is not calcium, it's muscle. So muscle is so metabolic. It's so important for your metabolism. Storage bins. Because what we've talked about day after day after day is insulin. And at the root of every disease that's going this way, that's in an upward trajectory, heart, cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes, has all to do with insulin. It's the biggest factor. And one of the biggest factors in insulin is called insulin resistance. And one of the best antidotes to that is muscle, building muscle. Building muscle. So walking is good. Am I against it? No, I'm not against walking. I love walking. That's good for you. But it will never replace muscle strengthening, resistant exercises. And far too many people think cardio rather than muscle. You know what I mean? They think cardio. And that goes back to, I remember there was guys like, Dr. Cooper, who wrote books and in the 70s. And I remember, these guys were gurus in my day and talking about the importance of cardio for the heart and all that. I never disliked cardio. I think cardio is good, but you know me with good, better, best. The best form of exercise is muscle. If we could only get seniors to understand that, okay? And, some of them are, they can't move around much and they got bad hips and bad knees but they can still get stronger. They can still get stronger. I don't care if you're 80 years old, you can get stronger. And one of the biggest factors, and they've shown this in terms of longevity, is whether you can get off the floor or not. Lay down on the floor and just see if you can get off the floor on your own. That ain't easy. And can you get out of a chair? It takes muscle to get out of chairs. And you see older people have a hard time getting out of a chair. But all I'm saying is, in this study, it's confirming the importance of muscle. It's saying that with sarcopenia, there's almost 2.5 times greater risk of dementia. Okay? And by the way, when it comes to muscle and it comes to eating, okay, so you want to get strong. I can't emphasize it enough. Especially, I show you my arms because I'm here. I'm on a podcast, okay? So when you're visualizing this, you know me, I like to show you, I tell my grandchildren, you see these pipes here? Okay? These guns, they're illegal. You can't bring them across the border. Okay? Of course, I'm teasing. But the best muscle for your brain, and we did a podcast on this years ago. I don't know if I did it. I might have did it with Tony Jr. And the podcast was, do a leg day for your brain. Think of your brain and think of your legs, your leg muscles. Because those are your biggest muscles in your body. More storage space there than anywhere else. And you see people around, they got skinny legs. And that's all right. Except that you want to have strong legs. Okay? For brain. And this is a study just confirming what other studies. Now, what is muscle? Again, it's storage. It's metabolism. It's where glycogen can be stored. Instead of being stored in your liver. And instead of your body having to make more and more and more and more fat cells. Okay? Because again, you can be skinny fat. You can have all that visceral fat around your liver. You can all have visceral fat around your heart. And visceral fat around your pancreas. And visceral fat around your kidneys. Okay? And you wouldn't even know it. You wouldn't even know it because, I'm skinny. That doesn't mean you're healthy, my friend. Okay, so the importance of getting strong. Again, confirmed by another study here. And by the way, here's something important that went along with the study. Higher muscle protein synthesis. Okay? How do you get, okay, one way, get strong. Okay? How's the other way to build muscle? It's called protein synthesis. And the best protein, okay, you know what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. Rinse and repeat, okay? The best protein is animal protein, okay? The best protein is animal protein. It beats vegetable protein by 50% in terms of absorption and synthesis. So people that tell you you should be a vegetarian, it's better for you, they don't know what they're talking about. When it comes to synthesis, meaning the breakdown and the absorption of protein to build muscle. You cannot build muscle without protein. And, you know, again, you're meant to eat from the animal kingdom. And when I say eggs, meat, and cheese, I mean it. I mean it. Okay? 50% better absorption, better synthesis of animal protein versus vegetable protein. If you're eating vegetable protein and you're living on it, you're making a big boo-boo. Okay? So that's the first study, 2 new studies. First one that came out about the brain and muscle. Okay? I wanted to keep you up to date. The more muscle, the better your chances of not getting dementia. At least 2.5 times. And this was a study over people over 65 years old. Start as soon as possible. Okay? And you don't have to spend a fortune to go to a gym. If you're involved in a gym, good for you. Okay? Good for you. But you need resistant exercises to get strong. So you can get these elastic bands. Okay? I should have brought, I got them right here. And you can get strong doing that. And resisting exercises. Think of protecting. Guys, one of the biggest fears in the world. The fears in the world. If you do a survey, especially as people get older, what is your biggest fear? I'm going to lose my memory. Dementia. Alzheimer's. Cognitive. That is the biggest fear for us senior citizens. Okay? And rightly so. Who wants that? No one. So, isn't that an interesting study? Muscle and brain. Here's the headline. Muscle and brain health closely linked in older adults over 65 years old. But it goes beyond that. Start young, get strong. What do we say? Sun, steak, and steel. Now, have you guys got your books to give out for Christmas presents yet? Sun, steak, and steel. Come on, what a great gift. Okay, now, here's another one, and this has to do with the brain too. This I found fascinating. Okay, here it is. Fructose levels. Okay, fructose levels and Alzheimer's. Okay, fructose levels and Alzheimer's. Now listen to this study out of the journal Nature, which is a very prestigious journal, okay, by the way. A journal, Nature, okay? And it said this: fructose levels are increased by 5 times in areas of the brain in patients with Alzheimer's. Okay? Fructose levels, okay? Not just sugar. This is fructose. Okay? Okay? Not just sugar. Sugar, you know me and sugar. But this is fructose, very specific. And it says, when they get an Alzheimer's patient and they analyze the brain, they have 5 times more fructose in their brain, especially in the hippocampus, than the general population. Out of the journal Nature. Okay? Now, I don't want to get into the weeds too much, but I just want to get you thinking for a minute. You guys, more than any other audience, I'm sure, when it comes to podcasts, any other audience know this better than anyone else. Fructose, specifically high fructose corn syrup, is the antichrist of sugars. Okay? Now, you are meant, I'm not against fructose, by the way. Okay? So let me differentiate that. You guys know this, but I'm going to say it again. I'm not against fructose. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. No. No. We live in a different world today. So when I was a kid, An apple a day kept the doctor away. But today, it's a steak a day will keep the doctor away. Okay? Why do I say that? Because you can eat fruit and eat it, never drink it. You got that? You can eat fruit, don't live on it. They're God's candies. They're not meant to live on. And we live in a different world, remember that. Okay? Because this is significant. We live in a different world. We're not living in the 1950s, where an apple a day kept the doctor away. We are living in a time where the biggest factor, and I mentioned it before, 93% of the population is upside down when it comes to their metabolism. What do I mean by that? 93% of the population have a condition called metabolic syndrome. I wrote books about it, and even in my new book, I talk about it again. And metabolic syndrome is at the root of heart, cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes, and autoimmune. With leaky gut in autoimmune. Okay? So what's fructose got to do with that? Well, it's got a lot to do with it. Because what happened in 1980, what happened to the world? Use your eyeballs. Look. Go out into the world. Go to a mall. Observe. God gave you 2 eyeballs. Use them. Watch people. Look at the size of people. What happened? What happened? I had cookies and ice cream too as a kid. If my mother wouldn't give it to me, my grandmother would. Grandparents, we don't say no to that, right? No, all I'm saying is, guys, think about this for a minute. All you have to do is use your noggin. Okay? Use your noggin. Use your eyeballs and observe how the world has changed. It's so interesting that it's almost like medicine is into a stupor. It's almost like they're into a coma. And they don't want to observe. Like Houston, we got a problem. Look at the size of people. What happened? They changed the sugar. Man thinks they're so smart that they figured out a sugar in a lab. It was subsidized by the government. Corn. Subsidized by the government. And these food companies, what they did is, let's take corn and turn it into a syrup. And it'll be a high fructose corn syrup. And then they said, oh man, this is great. It's fructose. And everybody thought, well, that's fruit. That's good for you. Even today, people will tell you fruits and vegetables are better for you than eggs, than meat and cheese. They'll tell you that. It's a religion, my friend. Anyway, back to the story. You know what they're finding in brains today with people that have Alzheimer's? They got 5 times more fructose than people that don't have Alzheimer's. It's accumulating, hello, in the brain. Guys, what did I tell you about Vegas? What happens in Vegas don't stay in Vegas. Before it gets to your brain, it starts in the liver. Yep. What happens in the liver doesn't stay in the liver. Fructose, okay? I mean, I studied this in the 1970s. Fructose goes right to your liver. It's like alcohol. Oh yeah? Yeah. That's nutrition 101. You learn that on the first day of nutrition. Remember, fructose goes right to your liver. Now, in the 1970s, who cares? Liver? Who cares? It goes to your liver. Now, we know what alcohol does to the liver. That's not good. But we don't think fructose does that to your liver. Except it does. Except it does. And what happens in the liver doesn't stay in the liver. It goes to the brain. Never mind your heart. Your brain. And fructose. Okay, what does it do inside the brain? Well, I remember listening to, is it a podcast I listened to? It's got to be 5, 6, 7 years ago. There was a fellow by the name of Dr. Johnson, okay? And he did a lot of research on fructose. And I liked it because he was thinking way outside the box. And this guy was no dummy. I mean, I think he had 2 or 3 PhDs. He was smart, a smart cookie. But he was saying that fructose is used by animals for hibernation. We all know that. Well, maybe you do. Look, if you live in Northern Ontario, okay, I got my hand up, okay? By the way, we didn't get the memo on climate change, okay? I'm sorry. It's going to be winter in Northern Ontario. Like, it's just the way it is, okay? We're going to get winter every year, okay? We don't get the memo, okay? If things are heating up, we didn't get that memo. Anyway, that's another issue. Okay, but what he was saying, Dr. Johnson was saying, listen, animals, like bears, they use fructose. They can eat up to, did you know that a bear getting ready for winter will eat up to 30,000 blueberries a day? Like, a what? 30,000. But you see, they do it to get ready for hibernation. They pack on the fat for the winter, right? But what it does, what fructose does, according to Dr. Johnson, I really, really liked his research. He's saying, think about that. What does fructose do to your body? It slows the energy down. It's like you're getting ready to hibernate. And he said, in the brain, fructose will slow the brain's mitochondria, the battery packs up there. Energy. It goes downwards. Fructose is meant for hibernation. It's to slow you down, not to speed you up. Although you give it to kids and their brains go crazy. Okay? But it really is a malfunction of the mitochondria in the brain. Boy, we're studying that today. It's incredible brain energy. Okay? Brain energy. And what happens in a patient with Alzheimer's? There's way too much fructose. Why do you think today? Do you know that Alzheimer's is the #1 killer in the United Kingdom and #3 in Canada and the United States and North America? My word, I can tell you something. I know it was always around, but I didn't even study hardly at all Alzheimer's. We didn't even study it. Hardly at all. That's an old man's, you've got to be 110 to lose your brain. But not anymore. It is a major problem in our society. And fructose, according to this study in the journal of, at least it's published in the Journal of Nature, there's 5 times more of that stinking fructose in the brain, especially in the hippocampus area of the brain, than there should be. 5 times more in Alzheimer's patients. Guys, these are significant findings. And the low-hanging fruit of all of this is, you know what, guys? Cut back up. You can have a fruit. You want to have an orange? Eat an orange. I don't care. Not on the reset, but once you want to have an apple, go for it. Bananas, not so much. Okay? Dr. Martin, I got to have my banana because otherwise I'm not going to have any potassium. Well, why don't you just have some bacon? Because you got more potassium in bacon than you have in a banana. You mean your doctor didn't tell you that? No, but guys, you can have a fruit, okay? I like fruit. I like berries. I even allow you to have some berries in Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie. Okay? You can have a few berries in there. Enjoy. I got no problem with that. But just understand the low-hanging fruit. It's an expression. Is to get rid of fructose in your life. And I mean high fructose corn syrup. It's in everything in the middle aisles of your grocery store. Whenever sugar is added, they add high fructose corn syrup. Avoid like the plague. From crackers to ketchup to whatever's in the middle aisles. They can't even make a loaf of bread anymore without adding some sugar to it. They can't even make soup without adding high fructose corn syrup to it. It's addictive. And people don't even know they're an addict on fructose. And it's accumulating in the liver and then off to the brain. And off to the heart. It's a dangerous antichrist of sugars. High fructose corn syrup. I've been saying this, guys, for 40 years. The 1980s. When they did it. I actually got called on the carpet. Okay. Because I was going against the grain, called on the carpet because I was mentioning, even in radio programs, that high fructose corn syrup was dangerous. You know, Gatorade and all this stuff, and they were coming out with, Gatorade. Yeah, you got electrolytes, Dr. Martin. I said, that's a bunch of crap. It's crap. You're using high fructose corn syrup. I got called on the carpet. But I was right about it. And I said, I won't repent. No, it's not a normal sugar. It was made in a lab to fatten people up. If you don't believe me, look around. Have a look. And just see how big people are today. High fructose corn syrup. There's nothing that will build visceral fat. Dangerous fat, like high fructose corn syrup. I can't stand this stuff. Terrible. Okay. Guys, how did you like those 2 studies? Okay. We got a great week coming up, okay? So stay tuned. Tell your friends. Tell everybody. Be a little evangelist, okay? Tell them. And get your book, Sun, Steak, and Steel, and buy copies, okay, for your friends. They'll love it as a gift. Okay, guys. We love you dearly. We'll talk to you soon.